Last night, we saw the debate with the Conservative leadership candidates on stage in Edmonton. All 6 of them were there, and they were asked about a question of their vision of Canada. They had 30 seconds to answer it, and then the debate continued on abortion and inflation and all of that. And we'll bring that to you on Y Media Political Sensex. But today, this morning, just to give you a flavor of what that seemed like, and these 6 candidates were on the final ballot, which will choose a Conservative leader on September 10th. Here is a bit of a clip on their vision of Canada.
I look at suburban Canada, it's a mosaic of the country. And I truly believe, and I've shown, you can convince residents who have traditionally voted for other parties that their values are our values, conservative values. I've seen that in Brampton, I've seen that across the GTA. So it's really about building those relationships and telling our story that we're the party that will fight to make sure we don't spend beyond our means, balance budgets, and fight for every Canadian. And that's key. We need to send a message, we'll fight for every Canadian, no matter their walk of life.
Thank you very much. Mr. Poilievre, your vision of Canada
is one where you, the citizens, are masters and your government is servant. It is one where people have the freedom to take back control of their lives. That means freedom from inflation, so that hardworking single mothers can afford nutritious food for their kids. Freedom from inflation so that 32-year-olds don't have to live in their parents' basements, that they can actually afford their own homes. Freedom from inflation and carbon taxes that have made it unaffordable for working people to fill their trucks with gas. The freedom to speak without fear and censorship, and the freedom to make your own medical decisions. In other words, the freedom to be master of your own destiny and a captain of your own life. Thank you.
Your own country, people who are unemployed. The government has used COVID to divide Canadians, and it's time for us to heal.
As you saw, that was a bit of a clip from last night's debate to set the tone that we'll be covering on Y Media Political Sensex at 2 p.m. today. Essentially, the moderator, as you can see, would penalize them if there was a lot of clapping, as it would take time away from policy debate. So the 6 candidates, when it comes to Mayor Patrick Brown of Brampton, Pierre Poilievre, who you saw had many cheers and has been considered the front leader candidate that he's been, going ahead in terms of the polls and support when it comes to the party base, which is why you saw last night Jean Charest and Patrick Brown and Leslyn Lewis go head to head against Pierre Poilievre, as he is the leading candidate that is, bringing over hundreds to thousands of people at rallies where he is zigzagging throughout the country. You had Scott Aitchison, who has really been known as the candidate of voice of reason, he talks about having unity and to make sure that the tone of the debate is in such a way that it doesn't turn off Canadians who may be looking at the Conservative Party as an option in the next federal election. Roman Baber, who was first elected in 2018 for the PC party, then he was kicked out of caucus as he had put out an open letter to Doug Ford, Premier, about mandates and how he was against the vaccine mandates and shutdowns. And he thought that it has more of an impact on mental health than it did over everything else. So there he was on stage talking about his vision of a free Canada. And Leslyn Lewis, this is her second leadership election, and she is again the only female on the ballot, where she was also in 2020 as well as in this leadership election in 2022. And you also had Jean Charest, who spoke about unity. So we'll cover all that in detail later on today on Y Media Political Sensex, and what we think who led the night and who was the clear winner. There is another debate which will be in French later this month, and the deadline for memberships is June 3rd, which is the deadline where these candidates can make sure that they're signing up members to get the final vote for September 10th, where one of them will become the leader of the Conservative Party.